Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Natural Habitat Adventures Daily Dose of Nature. So my name is Melissa Silva. Unfortunately, we had a little technical problem there with our host, Sunny van der Star, but she will be listening and she will be monitoring your questions, and she will let me know which questions you have during the webinar. You can send any question you have to the chat that is available here. And well, thank you for being here. Our webinar today is Know Before You Go, Kingdom of the Monarchs. So I hope you enjoy, and let's get started with this. So my name is Melissa Silva. I'm a marine biologist, and I've been with Natural Habitat Adventures for about 8 years, more or less, focused mainly on the trips to the monarch sanctuaries. So being able to give you this webinar today it makes me very happy, honestly. I'm very excited for the season. I'm ready to go there and take you to these marvelous places where the monarchs gather together on winter. So this is basically the overview of our webinar today. I will go one on one on the next slides. So something important for you to know is that we take care of, oh, okay, there it is. We take care the matter of health very serious. We want you to enjoy the trip. We want you to be safe when you are coming to the area of the adventure and when you are going back to home, back to your home place. So we have some protocols that are changing because of the ever-changing situation of COVID. So I don't really want to give you like a specifics right now. I recommend you to check the latest protocols right before you travel. So you can book your travel, and once you are booked, you will have some pre-trip emails with information about the protocols, the most to-the-date protocols right before you go. And if you want to check the ones that we have right now, go to this website, narhab.com/COVID-info/. So I do have some recommendations that we basically give those to most of the people that we know that are traveling and that are traveling with us as well. You can use those before, during, and after the trip. That's the good thing about these recommendations. The first one is you should wash your hands with soap, constantly with soap. Antibacterial gel or hand sanitizer works, but you still have like the dirt on your hands. So you can use, for example, some antibacterial gel, but clean your hands afterward. But soap and water are the best solution for any disease, actually. Another key thing is to avoid touching our faces with dirty hands. For example, when we are during the trips, we are I don't know, at the sanctuaries, and we were sitting on the floor, or we were petting some dogs or petting the horses. So we have our hands dirty. Avoid touching your face in that situation. And then during your flights, for example, or during the transfer from the airport to the hotels or vice versa, we suggest to wear a mask. Nowadays in Mexico, it's not mandatory wearing mask basically anywhere. You don't need to wear a mask, but it's always a good idea, specifically when you are like in a closed place, in a closed environment where you don't have air circulation, or when it's a crowded place. So the more people, the more chances that someone is sick. And not only we're talking about COVID, we're talking about also the flu. We're talking about some gastric infection. So let's just keep it on the safe side. Something I would like you to remember is that we are traveling as a group. So basically, what one person is doing can affect the rest of the group. So taking care of yourself is taking care of the others. just like in a regular daily basis. Okay, so let me tell you about the arrival information. You are arriving at the Aeropuerto Internacional Benito Juárez. It's an international airport. The name is Benito Juárez or Mexico City. And there are two terminals. They are on the same like area, but one in one side and the other on the opposite side. Just to make things simpler, we call them locally T1 and T2. That's the easiest way. It depends which flight, which airline you are taking your flight with. It's the terminal you are going to be sent. So some airlines go to the T1 and some other airlines only go to the T2. And as any other international airport, there's this immigration area. You have to go there. You have to get your passport sealed. Sometimes you have to get your baggage, your luggage checked on customs. So it depends what time of the day you are arriving. You might see something like this at the immigration area, but it's very likely and highly probably that you see something like this. Very, very crowded place. This is the busiest airport in the country, in Mexico. And basically we have flights 24 hours, commercial and touristic flights. So our recommendation is, we know it could be a long flight or you are up since very early in the morning, but always keep in mind that patience is very elementary in these cases. So be patient like a butterfly, like a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. Just be patient, be attentive to where you are going, the directions that they are giving, and there will be someone there waiting for you at any moment that you are going out. Don't worry about that. So speaking of that, who is picking you up? When you go out of the hall where you arrive, of the exit, sometimes it's very likely that you see something like this, like what in front. This is from the back. So you will see a lot of people holding signals, the signs, holding names, just like a piece of paper with name. So the transfer service that you need to look for is branded, has either a cap with the NatHab logo or has a sign with your name or your last name and the NatHab logo as well. So look for that, and they should be somewhere in front of you outside of your exit hall. If you don't see them at the very moment that you are outside and you don't see the logo, don't worry, wait a moment, double check. Sometimes we are short people in general in Mexico, so sometimes they are like a little bit below the average head level. Sometimes they are in one side on the other, so you just double check. If it happens that, I don't know, bathrooms are like right in front of the exit and you really need to go to the bathroom, so you go to the bathroom, you go out and you don't see the person still, go to the meeting points. We have one meeting point on each terminal. They are right very close to the international arrival area. So go to in Terminal 1, go to the Wings restaurant that is right next to Hall E2. You will see it's one corner and then right next is the Hall E2. And if you are on Terminal 2, go to Carl's Jr. restaurant that is right next to, like, you go outside to the right on international arrivals exit. I want to mention financial aspects here because it's linked to the exchange places at the airport. So this trip is an all-included trip. Basically, you have meals, you have accommodations included, you have your airport transfer, some gratuities, for example, for the hotel staffs included on it. But there are some things that are excluded of this. For example, some optional activities that are available in some areas that we are visiting. Some gratuities, for example, for your expedition leaders, some expenses like phone calls or international phone calls, for example, or laundry. So if you want to go like on the details of the what's included and what's not included and the money aspects of this trip, please go to this website, or I think it's a little bit better to call your adventure specialist to this number that is on your screen right now. And well, they will give you like more details on that. They can go deep on that information if you have any question about it. So how much cash you should take for the trip? Basically, just to put it in a short way, for your personal expenses. If you are, for example, if you are somewhere there while at the sanctuary and you see a soda or a beer that you want to try, that would be a drink of meal times. So that would be on you basically. And something important that I always I've seen is like a tricky moment on our trip is on souvenirs. If you are planning on having some souvenirs back home for your family or friends, I recommend you to bring some cash for the purpose. The thing here, this is important. The souvenirs that are monarch butterfly theme are available only at the sanctuaries. And for example, I have here some magnets that you can find them in some other places, but sometimes you find them in other colors, like blue or green butterflies. So back on at the very sanctuaries, you can find them like the monarch butterfly colors, for example. Keychains. There are hundreds of models of keychains, for little kids. I got this for my little boy. Then you have some a little bit more like traditional, like wood, and then metallic ones. So all of those you find them for sure and almost exclusively at the sanctuaries. Okay, so how much money? It actually depends on what you want to buy, what you are planning on taking back home. For example, if you are taking, I don't know, caps, there are a lot of caps with this embroidery. So those are like 80 pesos, 50 pesos, those are like $4, no less, like $3. So well, just think about what you would like to have. There are some tablecloths, that's what I've seen, tablecloths, huge tablecloths with embroidery, with like, this is not one of those, but it's very similar, this beige image that you can see here on the photo. And so those are a little bit more expensive. My recommendation, this is like in my experience and personal recommendation, is that you exchange at least $100. That is like 1,800 pesos. And when you do so, ask for small bills. You can tell them hundreds or 200s. This is the 100 pesos bill, the newest one. And what you can do also is you can keep one of these as a souvenir. You can see it has a monarch butterfly on the back part of the bill. So I personally, I think that's a very nice souvenir because, well, you can hold your bill right there and take some pictures while you are at the sanctuary. So, well, as I mentioned, exchange at the airport. That's the best place, is the safest place, and they actually have very good prices. They have a very good rate of exchange. They are, as I mentioned, in both terminals outside of right in front of your exit hall. Okay, so let me tell you about the people and the places that we are visiting, why what they have of special. The people of the area that is around the sanctuaries in the uphill area of Mexico, they are very kind people. They are very, very nice. They are always trying to please. They are very relaxed. You can see these two men here on the right image. Those are local guides. So they basically just sit there, wait for us, enjoy the area as well. And because of their culture, there are a lot of original native Mexicans here, or original people, Otomis, Mazaguas, some Nahuas. So all of these people, they have a lot of, their cosmovision has certain part of beliefs on the butterflies. So they actually are very proud of their land, of their forest, and also of their butterflies. We can mention a little bit more about that on the tour when we see you. But well, for you to know that they really care about the environment and the monarch butterflies. And as a proof here, they have a yearly reforestation on the area. These are oyamel fir trees, and in summertime they go and plant these little trees on the sanctuary. This is the entrance to the Rosario sanctuaries. So well, you can tell they really care about the place. They are also very hardworking people. You will see them, ladies, 70-year-old ladies, carrying things up and down the hill, name it wood or grass for the like food for their cattle. So they are working a lot. Kids as well, men, the same. But at the same time, they are hardworking people. They are fun. They are very traditional in certain ways. So you will have the chance to see that firsthand in one of, specifically in one of the sanctuaries where we have lunch at, and you will see how they prepare the meal. You will see how they cook. You can see some wood stove right here, and well, it's a very authentic experience that you will take from the central part of Mexico. So what places we are visiting during this trip? Of course, Mexico City, that is the place where we start and finish our trip. Angangueo, that is the town where we stay at for 2 nights, right next to the sanctuaries. Then we stay at Valle de Bravo in a neighborhood right next to it named Avándaro. And then we have a stop in Toluca City for a visit, a very special visit that I show you in a moment. Of course, Mexico City, you know, this cosmopolitan, huge monster of city, very crowded, very populated, very important for the country. And it happens that we will stay right next to this beautiful area in a very nice neighborhood named Polanco. So the Chapultepec Park is actually the largest urban park in the Americas. It's like, I think it's like 2 or 3 times bigger than Central Park in New York. I don't have the correct number, but the thing here is that our hotel is right next to Chapultepec Park. So if you arrive a little bit earlier on day one, or if you arrive on previous days, or if you are leaving one day after our trip ends, you have the chance to walk around Chapultepec Park and visit some of the museums. We have the anthropology and archaeology museum right there, like 2 blocks away from the hotel. There are some lakes at the park, so walking distance, you can also get to one of those lakes. There's a botanical garden. We actually have a castle in Chapultepec Park that is a museum as well, and you can visit that. And well, there's many more things to do that, just like walking around or sitting there to enjoy the nature. There are a lot of nice birds in that place. So well, Mexico City, that's like the area that we can see, that we will be at. From there, we move to Angangueo in Michoacan state. We go out of Mexico City to another state. And this is an important town because it has a lot of history. It has it was important part of the colonial history of Mexico and during the independence as well. So it's a mining town, but it's also very rich in terms of culture and traditions. They are, as I mentioned, very proud of their butterflies, of their land. So there's a lot of murals that we can see over there. We can enjoy while walking around the town. And why we stay in Angangueo, like kind of like far from Mexico City, if you want to see it in a way, because that's the closest town to the sanctuaries. The other towns, I was checking timings, up to 1 hour, 1 hour and a half from town to the sanctuary. And here is like 35 minutes. If we have traffic that we barely have, 45. So these are the best places to be, Angangueo and surrounding. Then we go and visit Valle de Bravo. That is also important in terms of culture, in terms of ecology. It's part of an aquifer system that brings water to Mexico City, the Cuetzamala water system. So it's a very nice town to enjoy. It's also a colonial town, but you will see a lot of differences in terms of like buildings and offerings. For example, different restaurants, and that is because Valle de Bravo is very close to Mexico City, so they have more people from the city coming even on weekends only. You will see that. And then we have a stop in Toluca City for the botanical garden, the Cosmo Vitral. I just want to say this is a hidden gem. I will keep it like that. Just it's a surprise for you. You will love it. So how we move from one place to another? These are the ways of transportation: a big bus, open bed truck, and horses. So the very first one that we use to from Mexico City to Angangueo is the big bus. These buses have plenty of room for the biggest number of the largest group in these trips, 16 people top, and your two expedition leaders. So the average is 14, 15. But I mean, plenty of room. You can have two seats for yourself, for your backpack, for your legs. You can stretch. And in the longest distances that we are traveling, we will have some stops, biological stops, we say, or pit stops, every hour or an hour and a half. So don't worry about the bathroom facilities, although we do have one on the back of the bus, but that's like exclusively for like an emergency when we are moving and there's no bathroom nearby. But well, we have all of these commodities here. Okay, so the open bed truck that takes us to the sanctuary, and usually the ride up there is like 35 minutes, 30 minutes, just to close numbers. And well, we actually divide the group. We take two pickup trucks. 8 goes in one and other 8 goes in the other. They have cushions there on the bench on the back. You can see it has this like roof kind of thing. And the only thing that I want you to keep in mind is that we are going uphill on cobblestone roads. So basically, it is a bumpy ride, although you can see the road here is pretty level, but still cobblestone. So please, when you book your trip, inform your adventure specialist, and you actually have to fill a form about health, dietary preferences, and so on. Please notify if you have any neck or back problem or extra care that you should have, and you can always ride on the front of the pickup trucks. And we also go on horseback ride, and basically we go only uphill, because since these are very steep mountains, it's safer to go only uphill rather than go downhill where you can be pulled down by the gravity. It's faster, of course, to go uphill by horse. It's very enjoyable because while you're on the horse, you can also be watching the surroundings, and if it happens we have a great day with butterflies around us, you are able to enjoy that instead of worry about where you are stepping on. And it's actually very safe because each horse has its own keeper or guide. Basically, they are like on autopilot. So you just hold there and enjoy the ride. Usually we have one horse keeper per horses, but sometimes they are low of staff and they have to take two of them. But well, we will try to make this the safest and keep one per horse. We will see that when we get to the sanctuaries, actually. Okay, let me tell you a little bit about accommodation. We're gonna stay at the nicest hotels that we have on the areas that are the closest to the place we are visiting, to the sanctuary. So this is the town of Angangueo. This is the view from the main street. And well, these are very, very nice places. Of course, Mexico City, as I mentioned, Polanco is one of the nicest neighborhoods in Mexico. We're gonna stay at the Grand Fiesta Americana Chapultepec because it's right next to the park. Very beautiful, very comfortable. We're gonna stay there first and last night. And then at Angangueo, that is the place where we are spending 2 nights at. We can stay either at La Margarita or Don Gavino. It depends on what day of the week you arrive. You are staying on each or on either one or the other. And here, honestly, you might not have like what you have in Mexico City in terms of I don't know, Wi-Fi or that's the only thing I can think about right now, because beds are very comfortable. You have some place to walk around, to sit, relax. Food is very delicious. It's one of the best foods that you will have. I will go there in a moment. And the facilities are just very clean, very nice. It's the most authentic uh, area that you can stay at, the most authentic hotels in the area. So these are the ones that we are having on this season. And when we are in Valle de Bravo, we're gonna stay 1 night there in a hotel named Avándaro. This is also a very, very beautiful hotel. It has a golf course in the area, so there's a lot of vegetation. And here is very nice to enjoy the sunrise. And at night, if we have a clear sky, you can see a lot of stars and constellations. So actually, I have an app downloaded on my cell phone, so you can just point up and see what you are watching. So I invite you to download one of those for the use on this specific night. So food, I was telling you about food. This is forget about Taco Bell tacos, forget about well, we might have some nachos, but not like the yellow cheese and jalapeno nachos. Forget about Tex-Mex. So I'm pretty sure that even if you have gone to a Mexican restaurant back there on the States or back there home where you are, you have not tried authentic Mexican food like the one that you can try here in this trip. Mm, And I tell you that because a lot of these dishes are homemade at the moment or previously on the morning before we arrive to have lunch, for example. Excuse me. They have traditional preparations and they have fresh ingredients. A lot of the ingredients that we are having there are harvest from the place. The crops are from the places. For example, the avocado, it's from Michoacan state. Right there, the people has even an avocado on their front yard or the backyard, and they can take the avocado from there. So enjoy, be adventurous, enjoy the food as well as part of the experience on this adventure. And something very important, once again, when you contact your adventure specialist, when you fill that form that they will send you, let us know any dietary preference or need. Let us know if you have an allergy or if it's just a preference that you have, for example, of I prefer not to eat garlic, for example, or I am allergic to garlic. Something like very specific that will help us a lot to fulfill the request that you have. So we can accommodate basically any kind of request, vegetarian, gluten-free, vegan is a little bit more complicated because the food supply, we have to take the vegan products to the places in Angangueo, but we can do so. We have done that. So just let us know, be specific, and we accommodate. Okay, let me tell you about weather and nature. We are on dry season. This is a dry season in northern hemisphere, winter. So basically, it's going to be dry in general terms, dusty at the sanctuaries. We expect to have cold or at least cool weather, climate during the days in the trip. And the thing here is that rain is always possible because we are up high on the sanctuary. So keep in mind that I mentioned that we expect dusty trails at sanctuaries specifically and especially when we are going up on the horses. Unfortunately, with the horses, they erode the soil, so we have a lot of dust floating on the air. So our recommendation is to cover your face. When you book the trip, not have eventually we'll send you some things, a package with some things. In one of those things is a buff. So we recommend you to use that buff, or if you have a special buff or specific mask that you want to use, please be my guest and take it there. But the thing is that you cover, once again, take care of yourself, and so we all are taken care of. Um, Also protect your eyes with some sunglasses. So let me tell you about the butterfly sanctuaries. We are going to be on the central part of Mexico, that is the mountain ranges, the transvolcanic belt on central part of Mexico. And we are actually on the limits of the state of Mexico and the Michoacan state. You can see right here, the area where the butterfly protected area is. So being those sanctuaries in the mountain range, the altitude can be quite high, up to 10,000 feet. So keep in mind that you need to keep yourself hydrated. That's very important. But at the same time, be aware of how you feel. So it's not a race. We always say it's not a race. Enjoy also the hiking uphill. Enjoy the area. Stop. Take your time to breathe. And this is something that I want to be more punctual on. Of course, we expect the sunny days and dry weather, but since we are in these high mountains, since we are in these high altitudes, we can find a scenario like this on the right side of the slide, where it's very cloudy, where it was raining, where we had a little bit of hail or sleet. So be aware that there's always a chance of having any of these situations. We can have fog. We have had foggy days over there. Then the sun rises up a little bit more, and then it all warms up. But well, it's the way it is in these natural places. And one thing that is important for you to keep in mind is that as long as it is safe, safety is our first goal. As long as it is safe, we're going to be moving in. This video, for example, we were already hiking to the area where the monarchs were, and it started raining. It was a light rain, as you can see. It was not pouring, so we just kept going. We had our ponchos, we had some walking sticks there just for extra safety. We just kept moving. Eventually, I remember that day, that was like 11 in the morning, 10 something 11, and by noon, 12:20, like 2 hours after, it was sunny. It was very hot. So well, just for your peace of mind and mine, um, I just took this chart of the historical weather for Angangueo, and basically on the season, on the monarch season, where when we have our trips, we have an average of 22 sunny days per month. So that's a very good chance of having sunny days. And then rainy days, we have an average of 1.5. So it's basically nothing comparing to the length of the trip. Okay, so let me tell you about what we expect to see in terms of nature. Uh, I'm pretty sure you know, or if not, I mentioned the monarch butterflies come here to Mexico to save energy, basically, during the winter time, waiting for the milkweed to sprout. So they come here, and what they need to do is they need to rest. They need to gather together and just be there on the branch, waiting for spring to come. So depending on how the weather is, if we have a sunny, warm day, we might see something like this, something like a lot of butterflies flying over. They can go down to a stream to sip some water. They can be getting some nectar from the flowers. But if we have a cool or cloudy day, we will see more of this on the right side of the slide. We will see more like clumps of monarch butterflies, all together, saving energy, resting for the good days. So that's important. Keep in mind that monarchs are here overwintering. So we expect them and we want to see them roosting like this, all on the trees, on the branches, uh, saving the most energy they can. And since we are in this protected area, this is a biosphere reserve, declared a biosphere reserve internationally. There are, of course, some rules, there's some etiquette um, that we must observe. For example, the one that I consider the most important is you can take photos without flash. So forget about the light. If it's too dark, for example, with like in some cases like this, that you have the clumps of butterflies, but it's all shady, well, you need to play with your settings on either your camera or your phone. We can assist you. Your expedition leaders can assist you on that. But you cannot use flash. That affects them in certain ways that kind of like overstimulates them and makes them waste energy. Another thing is don't touch them. Don't touch the sometimes they fly and fell over on the trails. So don't touch the butterfly. There are local guides over there that can take the butterfly off the road, of the trail, or just in the extreme case that it's only you that see the butterfly and no one, there's no like a local guide nearby, you can take a stick and move on. But don't touch the butterflies with your hands, because if you don't know how to do so, you can peel off the wings. They have some like scales. They have the ones that give color to their wings, and those scales help them, of course, to fly, but also to keep them warm, to be warm and save the heat in their body. So let's not touch them with our bare hands. And the other thing is that it is a request to be quiet while you are at the sanctuaries. Sometimes we get very noisy and our our local guides, they just tell us like shh. But well, you get excited. Sometimes we have some kids also that are like, there's a butterfly here, or there's a butterfly in my arm. So what they ask this for is because we want to enjoy the nature. It doesn't really affect the monarch butterfly. They don't have ears. They can sense the vibrations, of course, that travel through the air of our voice, but they don't really hear us per se. Um, but it is important that we just keep our voice low, because sometimes we can hear their wings beating. You can hear them like the actual flight of the butterfly. So it's important also to keep that in mind, just for respect of the place, to enjoy nature. We keep our voice low. And another part of the nature encounter that we can find here, it's birds. This is a very nice place for birding. If you are a birder yourself, there are some, I think you call them lifers, that you can find here. Like this little fella here on the central part of the slide, the red one with the white cheek. That's an endemic bird of the Central Highlands of Mexico. I think it's the red warbler, if I remember correctly. So if you're an enthusiastic for birds, this is one place that you can come and visit, because you will enjoy not only like the migratory phenomena of the monarch butterfly, but also you will be able to see some of these birds that you won't find anywhere else. Also, for example, we have other insects that are also very neat, not endemic, but native to the area, to central parts of Mexico and Central America, like this. Oh, this is a moth that I beauty elegant or something like that. And this one on the right side of the slide is a princely tiger moth that honestly I can see is you can see that very often once you know what you are looking for. So if we have the chance, we will look for that one for you. So you have also for people that is into gardening or botany, there are a lot of plants over there. I'm not very good with plants. I'm sorry for that, but there's some people at the sanctuary, local people, the people that lives around the sanctuaries, that can tell you what they use uh, each plant for, like for coughing, for fever, for the headaches. So it's a very interesting area to visit in terms of other, rather than not only the butterflies. Okay, so what are the activities and what are they like? Basically, I will put only three of those in general terms. We will be walking, hiking, and horse riding. So walking basically in towns, in Angangueo or Valle de Bravo, just like regular walking without the need of any more any other gear. Um, to go uphill, we will use the horse riding. As I mentioned, it's safer, it's faster, and hiking. There's just certain point where the horses can be, and from there we still need to walk a little bit more to be closer to the butterflies. On the other hand, when we are going downhill, we just hike and we take the stairs. So that's something important for you to keep in mind. Sometimes I've seen people that use this kind of like things for the knees just to give you extra support. They say it's a little bit more comfortable to do so, even if you don't have like a knee problem or so. So well, just check that as I mentioned with when you book your trip according to your health. Check with your adventure specialist what they recommend, and then we can just accommodate to that as well. Um, so something very important that I want to point out a little bit more is that all these sanctuaries on the trails, the monarch butterfly never goes to the same place every season. They go on the same hill or on the same mountain, but they can one season they can be on the east side, the other season will be the next one on the west side, the next one they come back to so they are moving. Each season is different, so we really don't know exactly where they are. And during the season as well is very different. They are moving during the season, so sometimes they open trails just for the season. There are trails that they open for one season and we don't use it that anymore. So saying that, most of the trails here are compact dirt, so you won't see like concrete, you won't see like wood panels or so on. It's basically the natural terrain. Is on even ground. Sometimes it's rocky, sometimes it's loose dirt because it's dry season, and then we have like this loose is the dirt on the ground. Sometimes there are like narrow areas, as I mentioned. If they just open that area, we have to go over stick or branches or go over around a tree that is right there on the middle. So we'll just keep that in mind. That is going to be like a very natural, very rustic, if you want to put it on a way. I like to say that very natural trail. So just keep that in mind. We have some walking sticks. I will mention that in a moment, but we can provide some walking sticks in case you need them, in case if you think you might need them. Okay, so how long are these like distances, the timings to go from, let's say, from the entrance of the sanctuary to where the monarch butterflies are? It depends. Once again, as I mentioned, where the butterflies are located, it will depend how long, how far it's going to take us. So an estimation from my experience on hiking, it can vary from 10 minutes of hiking from where you get off the horses, 10 minutes, or up to 35 minutes if it's like the new trail that you have to go down and then go up and then go around, up to 35 minutes more or less. The horse riding, basically the same, from 15 to 30 minutes, once again, depending how far the butterflies are. Each season is different, but also each week is different. So if I go, for example, on the very first week of the season, on December, and then I go on the next week, on the second week of December, they will be different. They can be different. And from one day to another can be different as well. So we actually visit El Rosario Sanctuary, one of the sanctuaries, twice. Once on the morning and once at the afternoon. And you will see it's very different even on the same day, one time and the other. So just keep that in mind. One recommendation that I think is important is that get ready since like now, from now, for enjoying the trip. So if you are more or less active, you can get a little bit more active. Do, I don't know, if you hike or walk 1 hour every other day, you can hike 1 and 20 or one and half an hour. If you exercise a little bit more, will challenge you. For example, on the treadmill, go on a little bit more like inclination, so you got more resistance. But just start getting ready from now, so you can enjoy more of this adventure. Okay, we're almost on time. I wanted to say last but not least, the packing list. And so this is like very general. If you want to know more about that, go to our website and on the Monarch trip adventure. And basically, what we recommend you to take, yes or yes, is a backpack for your daily essentials. So over there, you will have, for example, your water bottle, you will have your poncho for the rain, you will have your camera when you're not using it, or your sunscreen, that is very important. So, well, a backpack that is comfortable for you, that is big enough for what you need on the day. For example, if you need to take a medicine at 12:23, well, take that medicine with you, and when it's the moment, you can take it right there at the sanctuary, for example. So, well, just that's something very, very important that you need to keep. Sometimes I've seen like these 10 little backpacks, and they just have everything they need in that one. Myself, for example, I need a big one because I'm carrying more things for the occasion. So it depends on what you are taking, but basically just a regular backpack. As I mentioned, some protection, a hat, sunglasses, sunscreen is important. Despite we are not at the on the one moment, please. Okay. Despite we are not on the coast, we are on high altitudes, and I don't have like the scientific facts, but the sun burns a little bit more. Hiking shoes or hiking boots, the important thing is that they have good traction on the sole, so we avoid the slippery terrain. Comfortable walking shoes for the walkings around, that it can be the same hiking shoes can be your walking shoes when we are around towns, for example, your water to refill, photo device. It can be a cell phone, or it can be a regular camera, or it can be a professional camera. We have some specific photo trips that there's a specialist, expedition leader, specialist on photography, so you can take. There are more details on that once again on the website, and once you book your trip, they will tell you some tips on that. These ones with the mark, with the asterisk, walking poles and the mask, as I mentioned, they are optional, but if you have yours and you feel comfortable taking those with you, please be my guest. You can pack those on your check luggage. The walking poles and the mask, we will have some disposable masks there for use, but if you have the buff, it's better to bring your own. One second. Okay. And then in terms of clothing, it's important to bring a waterproof external layer, a warm internal layer, can be a fleece vest, or well, just like warm extra outside fleece. I recommend long sleeve shirts because sometimes it's getting hot while you are active, so you want to take layers off, but still you need some cover from the shade under the trees. But also, if depends on you, if you are like more of a warm person, you can take short sleeve shirts. What is a must, and I strongly recommend for everyone, even if you are like, no, I'm very used to cold, just bring a warm hat and warm gloves. Bring them with you. They are not very big, so better to have them than miss them. Warm sleepwear. We do have fennel sheets. We do have well, some surprise there for you to warm up. But even though, bring some extra warm sleepwear. And if you have a very light sleep, if you're like me, like I wake up with very light noises, bring some earplugs for sleeping, specifically in Angangueo. Sometimes we have roosters outside the hotels that are just singing all night sometimes when it's mating season. So that's it basically. Let me just go and check on the questions that you people have, and I will go answering some in these 10 minutes that we have. One moment, please. Okay, no. Okay, a ver, I have one here. Blah, blah, blah. One second. So, well, how large is the group? I mentioned the largest 16 people plus 2 expedition leader. You meet your transfer service at the airport after you go customs. So let me just go back there. One moment. I have key. Okay, so you are at customs, blah, blah, blah. They check your passport. Welcome to Mexico. Enjoy your visit. And then you go outside that. And then you see all these people. And somewhere there, outside of the custom area, you will see the transfer person. So it's after you go through customs. How long is the bus trip from Mexico City to Angangueo? It takes us about 3 hours because we're going on. We stop every hour and a half. So we 1 hour and then we stop and have this stretching your legs, biological stuff, then another, and then another until we get to Angangueo. So in general terms, those are the 3 hours. Is there an alternative to riding horses uphill? Yes, but still, we strongly recommend you. I mean, if you feel physically apt, if you have the physical aptitude for that, if you say like, no, I can go on that and I can do, for sure you can walk. On the very first day though, that we arrive on the afternoon and we need to be a little bit more faster, we take all the people on the horses, and but there's still the option of walking uphill on the pace of the horses. So you go with the group. You cannot go like way behind or way ahead. So you can keep with the group that is on the horses. What if the butterfly lands on us? They don't read, they don't follow orders or rules. So you just take a lot of photos. We can take some pictures of you, enjoy the moment. And if they don't move until night, well, you have to stay there at the sanctuary. That's a joke. So no, it doesn't matter. If they land on you, enjoy the moment. Do you give the horse wrangler a gratuity? It is already included, but of course they are very happy to receive extra gratuities on the season. A lot of these people rely on this time of the year for their income, for the yearly income. So of course you can always give an extra, but just for you to know, it is already included. We take care of that. What is the highest elevation we will be at? The highest elevation that I have been at is 11 4 or 200, something like that, a little bit more than 11,000 feet, but that was like 8 years ago when the butterflies were like super high in one of the sanctuaries, and it has never happened again in my time here with NARHAB in these years. So the maximum we have been is 10,000, like 10,300 feet, more or less. That's the highest. What time will depart each morning? We start our breakfast at 8, more or less. So by 9, we are moving out, heading to the sanctuaries. Can we have hard shell suitcase rather than soft? Sure, you can. Hard shell suitcase rather than soft, but I mean, it's up to you. Sometimes the soft-sided baggage is a little bit more like easier to accommodate, to put in certain places, either at the airport and on the airplane or in the bus. But yeah, we have had some hard shell suitcases. Is there a bathroom on the bus? Yes, at the very back of the bus, there's one bathroom, but as I mentioned, is basically for like extremely urgent uh, emergency. So we because we don't, of course it is clean, but the tank, the septic tank, is emptied until we come back to Mexico City. So basically, if we use it during the whole trip, we will be carrying like the whole thing until the end of the season of the week. How do that's a very important one. I really love that one. How do the locals feel about being photographed? One second. What is this? Angangueo. This one. I really love this photo of this lady. I bought these earrings and some bookmarks that she was embroidering in that moment. And I asked her, like, can I take a picture of you with the products that you are making so they know you made them? And she was like, okay. But you can see the face, like she was not really happy with that. They are not very used to be taking photos for of tourists. And so sometimes what I've seen, they are happy after the photo is if you keep them. Of course, is not necessary, but it's always a good manner to ask first, like, photo, can I take a photo? If we are not around, always in Spanish, puedo, and that's like a magic word, puedo photo. And sometimes they say no, no, and you say like, okay. I mean, you have to respect that. I read something about bringing some school supplies for the children. Okay, yeah, you sure can bring some school supplies for the children. There are some children that are helping their parents of school at the sanctuary, so you can give those to the kids at the sanctuaries, to the local people. One second, please. To the local people, and then so yeah, I mean crayons or some pencils, pens, erasers, some of those things for the kids. Do the sanctuaries only take cash? Yes, sanctuaries only take cash. Um, Actually, the only places where we have seen that they receive credit card is at the handcraft market in Valle de Bravo, but it's well like a bigger town, so they do have the terminal for the credit card. So at the sanctuaries, only cash and Mexican pesos. Um, Okay, my friends. Well, thank you very much. I wanted to say also that this is not only a natural experience, but also a cultural, a historical, a gastronomic experience. This adventure you really must have. Is very, very beautiful memories for your life. And I hope to really see you. And that's it. We don't have time for any more questions. I'm sorry. But well, as I mentioned, call us, give us a call, your adventure specialist, go to our website or write us an email. And well, that's it. Thank you very much. Thank you, Sonny. And in name of Sonny, she thanks you all for tuning on today. Join tomorrow, please, for the next daily dose of nature. These are very beautiful webinars from my co-workers of Natural Habitat Adventures. Check out this week's lineup, including the registration links as well on our website, nathab.com/webinars. We did record today's presentation, and you will have the replay available on our website soon. So that's it. Thank you very much. I hope to see some of you on this season. Enjoy. See you.